There are a lot of different tabletop war games, skirmish games, whatever you want to call them, that are out there. And each one is different. Okay, yeah, they have some similarities. Yeah, they have some things that will pull you in. And today I just kind of want to talk about the thing about Warmachine that really sold it for me and pulled me in, and is probably one of the most important things about it, and that is the Warmachines. They're amazing. Let's talk about why. Every tabletop game has their icon, right? Warhammer has their Space Marines. It's what people see, it's what people buy, it's what people get into the hobby for. Hate to say it, but it's true. Even if you play another faction, you're able to because people buy millions of Space Marines, right? For Warmachine, the thing that people see, the thing that gets them into the hobby, the thing that's possibly the most important thing in the whole game is the Warmachines or the Warbeasts. For all intents and purposes, they're the same thing. Yes, they're a little different, but for what we're talking about, they're the same thing. It's the thing that people see that get them into the game. Okay? And when I first saw them, I thought, whoa, cool, steampunk robot. Like, that's kind of cool. Let's look into it a little bit. And then you learn a little bit about the lore, right? And how basically the main continent is enslaved. They're trying to fight back. Magic kind of gets introduced. And what they use that magic to do is control these constructs, these machines that they build together. And in the beginning, they make colossuses, which are just like the sizes of a building, and it takes multiple people to control them. And think of like a bunch of mages up inside of a machine golem just fighting to survive, and then over time, they shrink them down to the point where one person can control 2 or 3 or, depending on the size, multiple Warjacks, because each one is a different kind of burden on the mind of the one who's controlling it. Okay, which just made this thing like, oh, that's awesome. And then you deal with the mechanics in the game, right? Where you have your Warcaster, your mage that's controlling these units, and they can't leave him alone. They can't get too far away for him or they get penalized. They lose abilities. They're tethered to him. Literally in the game, if they get too far away, they start to lose motion and abilities and things like that. And it's the reason why if the Warcaster dies, the game's over. Because now the person who was controlling the Warjacks can't control them anymore, and basically half your force is just wiped out immediately. Okay? And those Colossus, they're still around. They're still there. It doesn't take multiple mages to control them anymore. It can be done with just one Warcaster. Okay? And so just learning that made it so much cooler to me, because these are these big hulking units. They are bigger than a Space Marine, not a ton bigger, but they are. And they are the centerpieces of your army. I am a firm believer that when you play a war game, your army should be special. Okay? And I don't mean just like, it's mine, I painted it, it's special. I mean, it's special to you. You paint it the way you paint it for a reason. You put your time and everything into it. And I think a natural component of wargaming is that you want to show that off. And every game has a different degree of difficulty to do that. And what I mean is, one of the highest difficulty war games out there for this is going to be Warhammer. And it's just because there are so many units. And honestly, most of them are going to be soldiers. There's going to be 5 of the same. Yeah, they might have different poses, but they're going to be 5, 10, 15 of the same units, maybe on a motorcycle or a little bit different. There's not a ton of like, this is my centerpiece. I mean, yes, there are captains and different things like that. And there are exceptions to this, obviously, right? But there are still so many that it's going to take you years to get them all painted and ready and the way that you want them to be. And games like Malifaux, where you have 7 people in your crew, each one of them is dynamic. Each one of them is different. And so it's less difficult to make it your own and to make them special in their own way and to just put your heart and soul into them, because there's only 7 of them. So it's even easier. Warmachine, I feel like, is a perfect middle ground. Because, yeah, you have your groups of 5 units that are the same thing, basically, right? Warmachine does a good job of making them very diverse, so it doesn't look like they're all the same. They actually have different character to them, which I like. But then you also have your Warcaster, your Solos, and your Warjacks, okay, or your Warbeasts, which are these huge, big things in the army that everybody's focused on. The second you sit down to play a game and you're looking at your opponent, you're looking at what Warjacks he's brought and what Warcaster they have to see what abilities you're going to be up against and what crap you're going to have to deal with in the game. And so you get to see what makes this game so special right off the bat. These armies are small enough to take your time and to make it look amazing. And the Warjacks, sure, Warjacks in a faction have similarities, but there's also a lot of different things, and depending on how you suit yours up, and what I mean by that is you got different arms, heads, backs, different pieces that you can put on it to make it the way that you want it to look and fight the way that you want it to fight. And there's always going to be a meta, there's always going to be what people think is the best, but I'm happy to say that in Warmachine, I feel like you can put anything you want together and go out and play, and you're still going to have a good time. You're not going to get just crushed in a landslide either. You'll be able to hold your own. The balance is pretty good. I still remember seeing my first Warmachine model, and it was a Khador Warjack, and the Khador units are just, they're Russian, right? They're just big, bulky, too much metal in them, but that's what you love about them, and they have that characteristic in the new models as well as the old, and it just pulled me in. And then you learn that this thing's got a magical brain, that it talks to a Warcaster, and it's got magic flowing through it. Some of them have their own abilities and spells and things like that that they can cast. And then you learn that as you play this game, you have to move forward with your troops to capture points, to capture other things. And these Warjacks are just these giant, powerful machines, or the Warbeasts are just these big trolls, monsters, incredible things that take the field, and it just makes the game come alive in my mind. And that's what sold me on Warmachine. That's what I wanted to do, because I looked at it and I looked at the size of an army and I thought, it's not going to cost me $1,000 to get into this game. I'm going to have an army that's personalized and made to be my army. I'm going to love how it looks. I'm going to love all the characters that are in it. And it's not going to take me a year to get it done. I mean, heck, I'm in the middle of painting my Gravedigger army right now. I posted a couple videos on it. I'm going to do some future videos as I'm done basically with my Warjacks, because they were the coolest part. I had to paint them first, right? And I'm moving on to my Solos and Warcasters, which are just like they sound. The Warcaster controls the Warjacks. You can only have one in your army. Solos are solo units that some of them are so cool. like they really are, and they're amazing, and it's fun, and I enjoy it, and it hasn't gotten old yet. I have painted 10 Warjacks, and each one has just been different and fun, and I keep coming back to it, and I am looking forward to having a completed army. And if you want to see that, stick around, like, subscribe, hit that little bell. You'll be notified of when my videos come out, and when those army painting videos come out. I got P3 paints recently, and I learned something fantastic about them last night as I was airbrushing this Warjack for Cricks. And I'm going to share that with you. And I had a blast with an airbrush for probably the first time ever while using an airbrush. So if you like that and you want to see more, please stick around, and please let me know in the comments below what got you into Warmachine, or into Warhammer, or Malifaux, or Infinity, or Warcrow, or any of the games that you're out there playing. Because chances are, if it got you into it, it might be a reason to get me interested in looking into it, and maybe I'll start playing that too. So Let me know in the comments below. And as always, don't spend so much time building your world, especially painting it, that you forget to spend some time in it. Until next time.